Hello and welcome to Express News. I'm Rukma, your window to the latest news stories that are making headlines at this hour. A high-level meeting was chaired by Home Minister Amit Shah. The meeting was attended by External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, Railway Minister Piyush Goyal, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman and BJP leader Uma Bharti. Congress leader Radhakrishna Vikhe Patil resigns as MLA of Maharashtra Vidhan Sabha. Patil submitted his resignation to the Assembly Speaker Haribhav Bagde. Abdul Sattar, who was ousted from the Congress party, says more leaders are expected to leave the Congress to join the BJP. Infighting in Rajasthan, Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot says his deputy Sachin Pilot should take responsibility for his son's defeat in the national election in which the Congress could not win a single seat in the state. Karnataka State JDS Chief H. Vishwanath resigns from his post, taking moral responsibility for the party's dismal show in the recent Lok Sabha polls. BSP Chief Mayawati calls off alliance with SP in Bipol, says party will be fighting by-elections in UP alone. Also says this breakup is not permanent. If required in future, alliance may come again. BSP Chief Mayawati also says alliance with Samajwadi Party unfortunately did not work, claims that Yadav voters did not stand with Samajwadi Party in Uttar Pradesh. SP Chief Akhilesh Yadav says Samajwadi Party will prepare for the elections and will also fight on all 11 seats alone. UP BJP Chief and Union Minister Mahendra Nath Pandey says Mahagathbandhan was destined to crumble due to contrasting political ideologies. Also says he did not think that it would be such a short life. Union Parliamentary Affairs Minister Prahlad Joshi calls meeting of secretaries to Government of India at Parliament House in New Delhi. INB Secretary Amit Khare as well as other secretaries of central ministries take part in the meeting. NIA gets 10-day custody of separatists Shabbir Shah, Asiya Andrabi, Mashrat Alam Bhatt in terror funding case. Union Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar says government will retain autonomy of Prasar Bharati, meets officials for first time after taking charge of the ministry. Moving on, Information and Broadcasting Minister flags off 70 new OB vans for DD News. Senior officials of Prasar Bharati were present on the occasion. A 23-year-old man from Kerala tested positive for Nipah virus. People with symptoms are being kept under constant surveillance. According to WHO, Nipah virus is a newly emerging disease that can be transmitted from its natural wildlife host, the fruit bats, to both humans and animals. 6-member central team arrives in Kerala. Union Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan in constant touch with the state government authorities assures Kerala government of all possible support from the centre. Nitin Gadkari takes charge as Union Road Transport and Highways Minister. Later also takes charge as Minister of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises. Says MSME plays important role in ensuring country's economic growth and employment generation. Dr. Mahendra Nath Pandey takes charge as Minister of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. Speaking to Newsperson, says focus of ministry would be to ensure skill development in order to create more jobs. Thawarchand Gehlot takes charge as Minister of Social Justice and Empowerment. Union Minister Harsimrat Kaur Badal takes charge as Minister of Food Processing Industries. BJP MLA Rajesh Patnekar elected Speaker of Goa Legislative Assembly in special session of the House. Post of Speaker lay vacant since Pramod Sawant resigned to take over as Chief Minister of the state in the wake of the death of his predecessor Manohar Parrikar in March this year. In Arunachal Pradesh, senior BJP MLA P.D. Sona elected Speaker of Arunachal Legislative Assembly. Three-time MLA was elected unanimously for the Speaker's post. His name was proposed by MLA Balu Raja. Red alert issued by Met Office in eastern Madhya Pradesh and Vidarbha area of Maharashtra. Normal life thrown out of gear in Rajasthan due to severe heat wave. Drinking water crisis in several places in the state. Churu records 50.3 degrees Celsius. And for the third continuous day, it is the hottest place. Extensive search operations underway for Indian Air Force AN-32 aircraft with 13 on board that lost contact with ground agencies after taking off from Jorhat Air Base yesterday. RBI's Monetary Policy Committee meets in Mumbai amid expectations of rate cut on the 6th of June by the central bank in its monetary policy review. Comptroller and Auditor General of India Rajiv Mehrishi elected as External Auditor of World Health Organization for 4 years from 2020 to 2023. Mehrishi elected at 72nd World Health Assembly at Geneva last month with a majority. Robert Vadra, brother-in-law of Congress Chief Rahul Gandhi, appears before Enforcement Directorate in connection with money laundering case linked to purchase of alleged illegal assets abroad. He had skipped the summons on May 31st, citing bad health. Tomorrow is World Environment Day. World Environment Day 2019 will be hosted by China with the theme of air pollution. Union Environment Minister Prakash Javadekar says a program has been launched for people to plant a sapling. Kapil Dev and Jackie Shroff will also participate and plant a sapling tomorrow at Paryavaran Bhavan. US President Donald Trump meets British Premier Theresa May at business breakfast meeting at St. James Palace in London on second day of his state visit to the UK. US President had decided to hold substantial talks with the UK where issues such as climate change would be discussed. President Trump, during his first day of his visit to UK, met the Queen and hailed the eternal friendship between the UK and US during a state banquet at Buckingham Palace amid protests. At least 5 people were killed and 10 were injured after a magnetic bomb blew up a bus carrying government employees in Afghan capital Kabul on Monday. According to officials, the vehicle was taking workers home, employees of Independent Administrative Reform and Civil Service Commission, ahead of Eid holidays when the bomb exploded, enveloping the bus in flames and thick black smoke. UN Security Council will hold a meeting to discuss crisis in Sudan after security forces violently broke up weeks of protests against military rule. In this incident, more than 30 died and hundreds were injured. Sudan's Transitional Military Council says it cancelled all previous agreements with the main opposition coalition and called for snap elections following deadly violence in the capital Khartoum after security forces moved to disperse the main protest camp outside the Defense Ministry. Many countries celebrated Eid-ul-Fitr while it will be celebrated in India tomorrow. UAE's Moon Sighting Committee announced today is the first day of Eid-ul-Fitr, marking the end of the holy month of Ramadan and the start of the month of Shawwal. Date of Eid-ul-Fitr typically varies from country to country depending on whether the moon has been spotted. Tens of thousands of Muslims living in Moscow gathered in and outside the city's Grand Mosque for Eid-ul-Fitr prayers on Tuesday. In the wake of this, security was tightened and several streets were closed around the mosque. Mounted police officers were seen patrolling the streets. Afghan President Ashraf Ghani pardons and announces release of over 887 inmates in war-torn country on Tuesday as the nation's Muslims celebrate Eid. Before Afghanistan, many other Islamic countries had also announced the release of many prisoners on the occasion of Eid-ul-Fitr. Afghan President Ashraf Ghani says he will visit Pakistan on 27th of this month to open a new chapter in the country's uneasy relationship with its neighbor and mend ties that are often characterized by mistrust and tit-for-tat accusations. Italian Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte on Monday threatened to resign unless the two parties in the governing populist coalition, the League and the Five Star Movement, put an end to their brawling relations between the League and M5S sought during the campaign for European parliamentary elections on May 26. Conte is seeking a firm mandate to continue a dialogue with the European Union over Italy's public debt. Severe floods in Mexico's Jalisco has claimed the life of a 36-year-old woman, while around 5 have been reported missing since Sunday. Flooding happened in the San Gabriel town and municipality of Jalisco. Floodwaters have damaged dwellings and vehicles, affecting dozens of families. Israel carries out airstrikes in Syria in response to rare rocket fire from neighboring country, with a war monitor reporting 10 killed, including Syrian soldiers and foreign fighters. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he had ordered the strike. Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has said Turkey will not withdraw from a deal made with Russia to buy S-400 missile defense systems despite pressure from the US. Ankara's desire to buy the Russian S-400 system has been a major source of contention between NATO allies, Turkey and the US, which has threatened sanctions. An earthquake of 6.1 magnitude strikes Japan's Torishima Island region. The country's Met agency says the tremor struck this morning. United States urges China to make full public accounting of those killed and missing in the Tiananmen Square massacre 3 decades ago. On the occasion of 30th anniversary of Tiananmen Square, U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo says such a step would begin to demonstrate the Communist Party's willingness to respect human rights and fundamental freedom. The U.S. also alleges that the Chinese citizens are being subjected to a new wave of abuse, especially in Xinjiang. China's foreign ministry says it is resolutely opposed to U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo's recent comments on 30th anniversary of Tiananmen Square. Pompeo calls on Beijing on Monday. Security around Tiananmen Square tight on Tuesday, 30th anniversary of the Tiananmen Square massacre. Hundreds queued up in the early morning to see the rising of the Chinese national flag amid tight security. Large numbers of police and paramilitary vehicles were seen around the square. An Indonesian terrorist suspected of being influenced by Islamic State seriously wounded when he tries to blow himself up in a suicide attack outside a police station. Authorities said on Tuesday ahead of Eid ul-Fitr celebrations. No other casualties reported when the 22-year-old man in Sukoharjo in central Java province sets off what police described as low-grade explosives. Lima Group Regional Bloc and EU-led contact group on Venezuela on Monday called on Latin America and the broader international community to play a more active role in restoring democracy to Venezuela. The two groups made their call in a joint statement issued after Lima Group members Canada, Chile and Peru met EU representatives at the United Nations. Acting U.S. Defense Secretary Patrick Shanahan met with Japanese Premier Shinzo Abe in Tokyo on Tuesday. The pair were expected, among other things, to discuss their steps in dealing with North Korea. Virat Kohli led the Indian team to finally begin World Cup 2019 campaign when they take on a beleaguered South Africa at the Rose Bowl in Southampton on Wednesday. India is the only team left in the tournament who have not played a match yet, and they will be up against a South African team struggling for form and with plenty of injury worries. South Africa pace bowler Lungi Ngidi will be sidelined for up to 10 days after suffering a hamstring strain in Sunday's World Cup defeat against Bangladesh. But Hashim Amla is expected to face India. England suffers stunning upset at the hands of inspired Pakistan in second World Cup match at Trent Bridge. The hosts and favourites were surprisingly lacklustre in the field as Pakistan, roared on by the noisy and vibrant fans, posted 348 for 8. Team India will play a total of 12 T20 internationals, 9 ODIs and 5 tests in its 2019-20 home season. India to start their season with a series against South Africa, where the Proteas will play 3 T20s and as many tests, with the season starting on September 15 in Dharamshala. Caster Semenya will not need to take a testosterone-reducing medication to compete after Swiss court temporarily suspended a new IAAF ruling. The Olympic 800-meter champion, 28 years old, last month lost her challenge to the Court of Arbitration for Sport against the implementation of a restriction on testosterone levels in female runners. Liverpool to travel to Qatar in December to compete at FIFA's Club World Cup after the Gulf state was named as the new host. The annual tournament, featuring the champions of 6 continents, will take place in the winter, with Champions League winners Liverpool entering at the semi-final stage. NASA peers deep into the cosmos at the bright leftover cinders of exploded stars called pulsars. Now, the space agency has released a map-like image showing loops and arcs of X-ray energy, invisible to the naked eye, radiating from these dense cores of once massive stars. The most radiant spots are the suspected pulsars repeatedly blasting X-ray energy into space. These trails of energy, or electromagnetic radiation, reveal the powerful sources of these X-rays. Facebook plans to launch its own cryptocurrency, reportedly likely to be named Global Coin, as early as next year. The currency would initially be launched in just around a dozen countries, and Facebook may start testing it by the end of this year. Ever since Facebook's acquisition of Instagram, the app has received multiple facelifts that added new features such as stories, video calling, live streaming, audio messages, and many more. But now Snapchat is reportedly in discussions with major record labels to add more music, as the company looks to better compete against rivals such as massively popular TikTok. Apple takes a major leap towards boosting productivity on iPad, announces dedicated iPad OS. The new iPad-specific OS has been tailor-made for the iPad and brings a new home screen, more multitasking gestures, an improved Files app, better text editing experience, and a lot more. WhatsApp removes ability to save profile pictures of individual contacts on iPhone in latest beta version of its app. The company had earlier done the same in the beta version of its Android app. Walmart faces major test over Flipkart's legal spat with startup Goki. Goki sued Flipkart last month in a Mumbai court, alleging its devices were discounted by around 70% to the retail price. State Bank of India offers Pehla Kadam and Pehli Udaan savings accounts for minors. Pehla Kadam and Pehli Udaan accounts are meant for children under the ages of 18. Indigo announces addition of international flights at a starting all-inclusive price of 6,999 rupees. The new non-stop daily flights will be operated on Mumbai, Daman and Chennai, Kuala Lumpur routes. SpiceJet announces launch of new flights on domestic and international routes. SpiceJet announces daily direct flight on Guwahati to Dhaka to Guwahati sector and 14 new domestic flights. Domestic stocks today close with modest losses. Sensex at Bombay Stock Exchange fall 184 points to end at 40,084. Nifty at National Stock Exchange also slipped 67 points to close at 12,022. Extending gains for second consecutive day, gold prices surged 175 rupees to 33,370 rupees per 10 grams. Rupee on Tuesday settles unchanged at 69.26 against the US dollar. England cricket captain Ian Morgan blames poor fielding by his team for their World Cup defeat to Pakistan. Recent social media campaign against dress codes and expectations that women wear high heels at work has gone viral in Japan, with thousands joining the hashtag Kutu movement. Nearly 20,000 women have signed an online petition demanding the government ban companies from requiring female employees to wear high heels on the job. In order to save fuel and reduce weight on flights, Scandinavian Airlines SAS says it will stop selling duty-free goods on its flights to reduce the weight of its aircraft, save fuel and ultimately reduce carbon emissions. It says every step on the way to sustainable travel is important. In an unusual move, China issues travel for its citizens visiting the US, warning them of harassment and public security issues in the country as bilateral ties touched a new low amid a spiraling trade war. The warning came a day after China cautioned its students against going to the US for studies. President Donald Trump's outgoing chief economic advisor Kevin Hassett on Monday said he is hopeful about talks with Mexico following a threat from the US to impose tariffs if Mexico does not crack down on illegal immigration. And that's all in this edition of Express News. News and updates continue on DD India. Stay tuned. Namaskar.